Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we have another project. Well, not so much a project, but another comparison. Today we're going to be comparing aftermarket cold air / cool air intakes. Now, there's a lot of discussion about which intake is the best, which brand is the best, which style is the best. So I'm going to get as much data as I can and we're going to compare them. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to compare three different styles. I'm going to compare, first one will be the stock intake that came on 7.3 Excursion, the original 7.3 intake. Then I'm going to do a open element K&N style where it lives under the hood and has an exposed filter with a heat shield around the sides. And then I'm going to do a S&B cool air intake style with the where it has the box on it and the filters under the lid, and it sucks from the front of the truck and the side. So we're gonna see which one's the best. Now, cold air will make more power, and there's a lot of discussion about having a filter under the hood, if it's gonna really affect it. If you go with a bigger filter under the hood, it'll be sucking more air, but it's hotter air. So I'm not gonna speculate about that. I'm just gonna basically show you which one will actually work the best cool air wise. So I have a monitor hooked up to the OBD2 port that's reading air intake temperature, and we're going to compare all three of them. Now, the stock style is completely sealed under the hood. You can't see the filter. It lives inside this box, and it sucks air from the fender here and from the front here. So I'm suspecting that the stock one's going to have pretty good numbers, but then again, the stock one is a pretty restrictive filter style, and a lot of companies pride themselves on having, you know, redesigned the air intakes on these things to get you more power. Now, there's tons and tons of different brands. Now, I've used AFE, I've used S&B. What we're going to do is we're going to start with this one, and we're going to do a little driving around town and look at the temperatures and see where we're at. So follow along. Okay, so what I've done is I drove the truck around town a little bit to get it warmed up, and now I'm sitting at the gas station idling. Now, this is the 7.3 Excursion with the stock factory airbox. And as you can see, the air intake temperature is 68. Now, the intake air temperature sensor is inside the filter box, so it's actually getting a good representation of the air that's going into the engine. So, it's 53 degrees out. I'm sitting here idling. Engine's completely warmed up, and we're seeing between 68 and 70 for intake air temperature idling. So I'm going to start driving around and we're going to see what it's going to do. Now, if you can't see, it's already down to 64. So it's already jumped down significantly. And I just started moving, as you saw, so we're decreasing. Now we're at 62. So this is kind of a downhill, so I'm not having to give it a whole lot of throttle. But as you can see, I mean, as I'm accelerating, it's going down, which is telling me that that air intake is actually sucking air from the front of the truck and through the fender like it's supposed to. So that's what you want. The colder air is more dense and it's better for building power. So you want the coldest air possible. And on the same token, you want to get as much of it as you can. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn around up here, and we're gonna go back up the little hill. So it went back up to 66. Now it's at 64. Let's give her a little climb this hill. Back down to 62. It's a beautiful day out today. It's a perfect day to be doing this. So we're at like 15% throttle and we're seeing 62. So that's pretty good. Stock airbox is obviously a pretty efficient design, albeit restrictive. So you've seen what the stock airbox does. Now, it's going to be different between vehicles, but the stock setup's usually designed pretty well. Now, on the carbureted vehicles, a lot of the time they just sucked from under the hood, but on the fuel injected vehicles, most of the manufacturers have tried to get air from either the front of the car or the fenders or whatnot, just for efficiency purposes. But I have no complaints about this one. So we're gonna do the Excursion with the open filter element next. So I'll be right back. The next one we have here is a 2002 7.3 Excursion, but this one has a open style air filter. So you can see it's got a massive open element air filter, and it's got this heat shield that's supposed to stop heat from the engine compartment, and it's supposed to suck from here, the fender here, and then it's got this little tube that brings the air forward. So this looks like it's a decent setup. I mean, it is an open element, so it's going to be breathing underhood air, but they make a lot of them like this. There's some filters, there's some filters that'll just have the tube come over here and the filter will just end up sitting right here. There's one called the 6637 modification, which is quite popular. It uses a big Napa filter. The filter just chills right here, so it'll let more air in, but it is underhood air. So we're gonna plug in and do a drive and see what the temperature difference is. So as you'll notice, this piece is gone, so it could inhale underhood air. So we'll see what it does if this and that one in there are enough to offset it. Okay. This is still the 0273 with the open element air filter. Took me a little while to get this figured out. This engine, the PCM would not communicate the full data list with my Edge scanner, with my Edge monitor that I had up here for the other test. So I had to get this one out of my other truck. But either way, drove around a little bit, got it up to temperature. I'm sitting at the same gas station that I was with the 7.3, the other 7.3. The exterior temperature is the same, but the intake air temperature is 88. If I recall, the other one was 64, 66, so now it's up to 90. So you can see that it's getting hot air from under the hood. Now it's nice out. If it was like 100 out, this would be a lot bigger of an issue, but you can see it's yeah, 90 degrees just sitting here. Now if we drive around, it should go down, but you know, if it's super hot out and your cooling fan's on and you're running your air conditioning and the AC system's adding more heat to the underhood area, it's not good for efficiency, that's for sure. So I'm gonna pull out of the gas station and we're gonna do the exact same little route we did earlier. Yeah, it's at 92 already. The stock airbox never got this warm. This interior in here is gross, as you can see. This is part of my Excursion restoration project, where I'm pretty much giving an overview on how to just completely redo this interior, because it's freaking disgusting. That's why I got this thing for, you know, a fairly good deal. It's just motorically it was taken care of, but aesthetically, just the people didn't value, you know, keeping the inside clean and stuff. But ironically enough, it was meticulously maintained at a Ford dealer, so go figure. Yeah, we're driving, it's down to 76, but it's still higher than it was with the stock element. We'll see what it does. Keep in mind, as the outside temperature goes up, this will get a lot more exacerbated, just because the heat will start to collect on all the components underneath the hood, and the sun beating down on the hood, and it just gets worse and worse the hotter it gets outside. So we're down to 72, which isn't bad, I mean, considering it's an open element, but yeah, it's quite nice out, so it's not going to really have a chance to get that hot. Let me go ahead and turn around like I did, then I'll do a blip up the hill. Wish it was 100 out so I could do a better comparison, but that's gonna be like 4 months away if it even does it this summer. Let's see, we're at 78 just from idling, and then go back up the hill. That's 84, 86, 88. Yeah, so you can see the temperatures are significantly higher than they were on the stock box. So what's on here right now, it's a nice setup. I mean, it's it's decent, but there, in my opinion, I think there's going to be a lot better results with the S&B as we get it put on the other one. So yeah, I'll go ahead and get that one going, and I'll come right back with you. Real quick, I wanted to show you something. I just got back to the house, and that's just sitting here, 106 intake temp. So this is significantly hotter than the stock airbox ever got. I mean, this is almost 50 degrees above the outside temperature. So it's yeah, the open element definitely breathes a lot of heat from the engine, and increases the air temperature, which is no bueno for performance. So I just wanted to show you guys. All right, now we're gonna do the S&B element. There you have it. Batteries reconnected, completely installed. That is a nice looking piece. Put the outerwear on it. I ordered a little outerwear sock, and what it is it's a really fine screen, and it'll keep big particulates from getting packed in the pleats on the filter, like keep like flies and bees and gravel and crap like that out. So it'll help the filter stay cleaner a little longer, and then when it's time to clean it, you can just spray the cleaner on it and hose it off, and then put it. Well, we're gonna take this guy out and do the road test now and see what my temperatures look like. All right, now we're sitting at the same gas station. It's afternoon, and it's about, it says 66, but it's about 68 outside. And I've been sitting here idling. I'm up to full temperature, and I'm at between 78 and 80 degrees on the intake air temperature. Now, keep in mind, that's only 10 degrees above the outside temperature. That's really close to what I was getting with the stock setup. The the open element air filter that was just exposed to the engine compartment was getting, I saw 106, and it was about 59 out, so it was almost 50 degrees hotter. So you can obviously see that the enclosed filter is a much better design as far as wanting colder air. Now, there are some that are cheaper. You can do the open element in there. Now, the open element's not a bad design, you know, that you can get them a little less expensive, and like the 6637's not a bad alternative. It really isn't. If you have the original like 7.3 style air scoop, say in an OBS, and it can funnel air over to it, it's a good setup. But I mean, for something like this, I'm just a hair over 10 degrees, you know, exceeding the outside temperature, which is stupid good. I mean, think about it, where we have a full aftermarket intake under there, and it's not much hotter than the exterior temperature. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull down the street, and let's see what we can get it to do. As all the other ones would cool off a little when you would start driving, so we'll see what this one does. I did notice that the turbo spool's a little quicker, so that's nice to have. See, it's down to 76 already. Ooh. I see I'm going downhill, so I'm not really on the gas that much, or I think the temperature dropped even more. Yeah, just like that. So we're 74, so that's actually really good, seeing as the outside was saying it was 68. That's what, 6 over? Yeah, my dumb brain can't math today, so I'm really happy with it. With the S&B, it's a nice looking intake too, and it's all plastic, so you don't have a steel tube to get heat soaked and collect engine bay heat, and it won't rust or corrode. Like it's pretty cool. I'm actually gonna get over and turn around so we can do our uphill portion, but yeah, I mean, it's about the same price as some of the open element designs. I mean, you go with a couple of the other ones, they're within $8 or $9 of this one, and this is totally enclosed, and it has a lid so you can kind of keep track of the filter, see if it's getting dirty and stuff. Ooh, crap. Yeah, this steering box sucks. I'm gonna have to replace it. Gotta fight it when you're not moving. So let's make some boost going up the hill. Let's see. 68, 76, 74. Yeah, so this, I mean, the enclosed style air intake legitimately works great. And you can see by the data that it's behaving very similar to the stock intake as far as temperature rise, but it's moving a hell of a lot more air because of the filter design and the fact that it's sucking from two places instead of one. So I'm real happy with the S&B, just like I tried to do with the Excursion comparison video between the V10, the 6.0, and the 7.3. I'm trying to, you know, not just put it on paper, just give like real world info. So I'll put the data in the comments for you guys to see, but I'm real happy with this. I would definitely recommend the S&B or an AFE closed style, you know, closed style intake or something to anybody. I mean, once you start doing bigger, you know, power adders and stuff, at bigger injectors, bigger turbo, you're gonna move more air than the stock one might be able to do. Now, on the 6 liter that I had, the stock filter, everybody said it was good to about, you know, 500, 520 horsepower, but I ended up sucking in the filter minder anytime I did a hard pass, so I went with an S&B on it, and it was a huge difference. But I had already done the turbo and the injectors and all the other stuff. But this is it's one of the first things I recommend doing. It'll help the engine breathe better, even in almost stock form, and I'm really stoked that I got this guy on here. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you like it, subscribe. Have any questions or comments, go ahead and post them, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.